Carter, calm down, said Bast. Look, it's not possession. Horace does not have 100% control. You and him were already cooperating before, even if you did not know it. How else do you explain the avatar back in Luxor? You're basically sharing space. Same goes for you, Sadie. Both you and Horace have the same goal, Carter. You lost your father and want revenge on Set just as Horace did millennia ago. Why else do you think he had chosen you? And now it's up to you to save your father with the power of Horace and defeat Set. And you, Sadie, you must be there at his side. I am here now. I will guide you both. You could just give me full control and save yourself the trouble, Horace said in Carter's head. Not gonna happen, said Carter. Anyway, we have other problems. He reminded them how gods couldn't go too far without a host, so they can only assume Set could have picked someone nearby. He also reminded them how Desjardins was at the museum when the 5 gods were freed. If Osiris picked Dad and Horus picked Carter and Isis picked Sadie, who could Set have picked? You're suggesting that he chose Desjardins? Sadie asked. He wants you two dead, said Bast, and Set wanted Horus and Isis dead. It would only make sense. By Ra's throne, Kata, I pray that you're wrong. Whatever Set's planning, he'll do it on his birthday, 3 days from now. She then suggested they could stop Set by using a special book called the Book of Thoth, and that they should hurry before sunrise. The bad part, Bast continued, it's here in Paris. In Desjardins' house. Bast knew exactly where the house was, so they got there in a jiffy. It was just a couple of blocks away from the Lavier. As soon as Carter saw it, he hated Desjardins even more. It looked like a place where Dracula would go for vacation, if he liked France. Carter mentioned how it looked suspicious for Desjardins to have a red door, given that it was the color of Set. In other words, the color of evil. Sadie thought black was the evil color, but Bast corrected her. Easily common mistake these days, dear, she said. It's the color of soil. You can grow food with soil, so therefore black is good. Right, so who wants to go in first? Then Bast mentioned one problem. She told him that the mansion would have spells that would keep out unwelcome gods, just like before with Amos's house. Without the owner's permission, she herself could never get in. Bast also told them that they would have no effect because they were only hosting gods, while she herself had full control over Muffin. You see the difference? She asked them. No, I can't, said Sadie. Bast then suggested turning themselves into birds. Then they could fly up to the balcony and make their way in. All they had to do was picture it in their minds. It shouldn't be too hard for you two, given that both Horus and Isis are gods of the air, Bast said. In his mind, Carter asked, Horus, you still there? What? Bird form, please. Oh, I see. You don't trust me, but you need my powers. Come on, man. Do you want to save Dad or not? Fair enough, Horus said. Carter closed his eyes, and for a moment, he felt his body getting a little warm. He opened his eyes and, what the falcon? Carter was a falcon. Next to him, Sadie turned into a white kite. You know, the type of bird of prey, not like an actual paper kite. Ooh, you two look wonderful, Bast said. Now, off you go then, before I lose control and get hungry. Before we get caught. Carter wasn't sure how he did it, but he and Sadie spread their wings and up they went. Carter never felt so good. He had always dreamed of being able to fly. They aimed for the balcony door, and before they had time to think, they flew right through it, like it wasn't even there. You're doing great, Horus said in his mind. With our strength combined, you were able to push through the magical barriers. They found themselves in a rather old-timey library. Edgar Allan Poe might have enjoyed this place. Carter had already changed back to human, but for some reason Sadie remained in bird form. You can change back now, he told her. She let out a frustrated croak. Carter could only take it as a sign something was wrong. Well, alright. We'll ask Bast for help with that later. Carter said. "Just keep watch for me. I'll look around." Carter searched the shelves for what seemed like hours. But most of the books were in French and hardly any were in English or hieroglyphic. He wasn't even sure if he would even know the book when he saw it. Then he had an idea. It was a big if, since it wasn't a familiar library, but he pulled out the same clay doll from his dad's bag and asked, "Hey, doughboy, you think you can help me find the Book of Thoth?" He opened his eyes and said, "That is child's play. It's right over there." He pointed to a blue book with a gold spine right next to Carter. As soon as Carter tugged on it, he could have sworn the room shook for a slight second. Then the door exploded with fruit bats. They swirled around Carter like a ripe fruit. Then Sadie tried to distract them, and Carter had just enough time to shove the book and doughboy into his bag, turn into a bird again, and they flew out the balcony. They landed safely next to where Bast was waiting, and they both turned human again once they hit the ground. "Quick, to the Levere," Bast said. She picked them both up, and she ran like a cheetah 3 large blocks down. "1 minute before sundown," Bast warned. "Quickly now." "But this thing's made of glass," Sadie said. "It's not even Egyptian." "That doesn't matter," Bast said. "Just concentrate on where you want to go. Now hurry. They're coming." Where did Sadie want to go? Truthfully, she wanted to go back to her home in Canary Wharf, in her grandparents' flat. But she knew she couldn't. She packed up the courage and said, "America, please." The portal opened, and they jumped right in. They found themselves inside a small, plain gray room with small windows on each wall. Carter realized with a start, they were in America all right, at the top of the Washington Monument. "You didn't really pick a specific city, so we were given the default portal," Bast explained. "The Washington Monument is the country's most largest source of Egyptian magic." Suddenly, Sadie collapsed on the floor and her eyes rolled up in her head. Bast assured Carter that she would be alright and just needed rest. It probably should have made sense considering she had summoned flames, opened 2 portals halfway across the world, turned into a bird, had trouble changing back, and got overwhelmed by fruit bats all in one day. Bast mentioned how using that much magic in so little time could easily drain any magician. All that should have been enough to suck any human dry. She also assured Carter that they had plenty of time to rest, considering they were now in an earlier time zone than Paris, and it was now late afternoon. She promised she would keep watch and encouraged him to rest too. And so he did. Sadie couldn't remember falling asleep, but she started to have her first bar trip, just like Carter did. She was now flying over the now nighttime skyline of Washington, D.C., but was too distracted by her own glowing bird form. She thought she'd be prepared for this, but she decided she couldn't accept this. It was bad enough she turned into a real bird before and almost couldn't change back. She shut her eyes, and with the single thought, "Pop," she willed her body back to human form. She was still floating over the city and started to fly higher. Seconds later, she heard a woman's voice whisper, "Sadie." "Mom?" Sadie hoped. "Oh, my dear child." The voice sounded close, but Sadie still couldn't see anyone. Then she looked straight up and could have sworn she could make out a face made from the stars in the sky. The face of a ginormous, dark blue-skinned woman. Her skin was the same color as the dark night sky. Her face and body was outlined with stars. Her lips looked like a small red cosmos. Her hair seemed to be made of black clouds, and her eyes looked like twin comets. You're the sky goddess," Sadie said. "Yes, my dear, I am Nat, bride of Geb, mother to Osiris, Set, Horus, Isis, Nephthys, and queen of the cosmos. Also, I've heard plenty of jokes about my name and enough to come to expect it, child. But that's not why I'm here. Both Isis and I know that." Are you inside a human host?" Sadie asked. "Oh no, child. I have no need for such things being the sky goddess," she answered. "The sky is my body. The House of Life has been after me for centuries, but they'll never catch me. Out here, I am free, and I only hope my children and the rest of the gods will have the same luxury soon enough and find their places in this modern world without the House of Life in the way." I don't think they would like that," Sadie said. "I heard how the gods caused the downfall of Egypt. No offense." "That," Nut said, "is a very old and weak and pointless debate. All empires fall eventually, child, but the idea of Egypt is eternal. The gods have known your family for millennia, Sadie. In the old days, we worked together for the benefit of Egypt, and now it's your turn." "Let me guess, it's up to me and my no-good brother to defeat Set?" Sadie guessed. "But is it that simple?" Nut asked. "After all, Set is my child too. In the old days, he was Ra's lieutenant, you know. And with his help, Ra defeated the old Chaos Serpent Apophis, one of the oldest incarnations of Chaos. He has hated creation since the very moment the first bit of earth rose out from beneath the ocean. He did not care for anyone, not humans or the gods or anything in the whole universe, and with Set's help, we had successfully vanquished him the first time." "And then Set turned evil?" Sadie asked. "Set has always been Set, for better or worse," Nut said, "but he is still family. It is difficult to lose any family member, is it not?" That's hardly fair," said Sadie. "Please don't speak to me of fairness," Nut said. "For so many millennia I've been forced to stay separated from my beloved." She then told Sadie how Ra punished her for having children, and Ra ordered Nut's own father, Shu, the god of the wind, to keep her and her husband, Geb, apart. Geb was imprisoned in the earth, while she was exiled to the sky. Sadie could hear the heartbreak in Nut's voice. "Okay, so back to defeating Set?" Sadie asked. "It will most likely not be the way you expect," Nut said. "Seek out help from Toth in Memphis, Tennessee, and there you might find what you need. But be warned, child, he can be hard to predict and may ask for favors sometimes. I can promise you safe travel as far as Tennessee, being the Sky Goddess, but that's all I can offer you." She snapped her fingers. Then, a stack of 3 first-class tickets appeared in Sadie's hands, along with an envelope. "I suggest you hurry," said Nut, "for I sense Set's minions close by." "Wait, what's this envelope for?" Sadie asked. "When you see my husband, you'll know," Nut said. Without another word, she snapped her fingers and Sadie woke up. "Airport!" she shouted suddenly. "Tennessee! Memphis! Toth! Hurry!" "We're not getting out easy," Bast said. "It's here at the doorstep. The Set animal." Out the window and on the ground, right at the foot of the monument, was the scariest dog they ever saw. It had black fur, ice cream cone-shaped ears, and even from high up they could see its eyes glowing. It also had a long extra snout and dangerous-looking teeth, and it was about the size of an elephant. Boss, how do we get out of here?" Carter asked. "You don't understand," Boss said. "The Set animal is the perfect hunter. If it has our scent, there's no escaping it." Boss told them that she would jump down and distract the monster while they would make it to the airport. "No, I can't lose you again," Sadie said. But Boss broke open the window and jumped out anyway. The siblings looked down as she tackled the monster and rode it like a bull. Then they turned into birds again and headed for the airport. When they got there, and Carter changed back, Sadie seemed to have trouble doing the same again. "Oh, not again," Carter said. "Sadie, listen, I think there's a trick to the change," he told her. "You see, when I did it, I thought about what's important. I thought about Mom and Dad and how much I want to see them again. How much I want us to be a family again and make things right again, just like Dad said. And how it all depends on us fulfilling this mission to save Dad and beating Set. Just focus your mind on that. It's worth a try." She looked in all directions and started chirping and picking at her wings. Okay, just take your time, but we can't stay here," Carter said. He let her stand on 2 of his fingers and they went inside.